microchip lookup tool, and then that should, if everything is, as it should be, it should pop up the last place where that microchip was registered. So, hopefully, like if it's a home again microchip, it's going to show that yes, it was updated on such and such a date in such and such a year with home again, and then it will give you the phone number of the microchip company. So it won't tell you the exact details associated with that microchip because that's generally considered proprietary information by the microchip companies, but at least it will give you the 1-800 number. You can call that company, and then you can talk to a representative and ask them, say, this is my dog, and I want to make sure that everything's up to date, and they should be able to tell you what information is associated with that microchip.
Mm-hmm.
And again, every microchip company is a little bit different. So, some it's going to be fairly easy to talk with them. Some of them not so much. Some of them just have a website where you're going to punch in some information on your computer and hopefully either then be able to online chat with somebody or reach, get into the database somehow. But some of the microchip companies, like my dogs are with 24 Pet Watch. I actually have like an account created with them, so I can actually check at any time. So
Mm-hmm.
I just would scan my dogs just to make sure that the microchip is still where it should be, and that it's functioning. But then I can just log into my account, and I try to do that, about once every 6 months. And I just look at it. I look and think, okay, is this information correct? Did we change anything? My husband just changed his phone number about 6 months ago, and that would be a really easy thing to have just let slip by, because we haven't moved or anything, but he just switched from a Texas phone number to a Wisconsin number because we'd previously lived in Texas. And, I thought, no, I better go change that on my microchip.
Yeah.
So with the companies that actually have, like, where you create a little online account, it's quite easy because then you can just go in and change it yourself. And you can put a new photo of your dog in if your dog has changed, their looks at all or anything. Not all of them have the photo option. But, generally you can kind of walk yourself through it once you have that number and know what brand it is and who to call. But always the first step is to go to that AHA lookup tool. That should be the place where you start. So did that kind of have a long-winded answer to your question, I think?
No, but that's important. It's all important,
Yeah.
And I know I've mentioned this before, but it was something that, because I'm in Florida and we do get hurricanes here. And if you have to evacuate and something happens where, even anywhere where there could be a natural disaster and you have to evacuate and you could lose your pet very easily during a hurricane or something, hopefully not easily, but it happens too much.
Yeah.
It was suggested by our local humane society that you put on a secondary or emergency contact of someone not in your area in the event, that they can't reach you because maybe the phones are down or something, but they know what to tell somebody, but if you have two people in the hurricane area, neither of them have phone service, then what happens? So I thought that was a good idea. And it also, the reason she mentioned it was because she helped or hoped that it would cause people to be like, oh, that's a great idea. I need to do that. And then they would go in, they would update their information and make sure everything was correct. So, I thought that was a great little thought there.
Yeah, that's absolutely a good tip. And I take a lot of flack when I say this, if I say it online or, I'm talking to somebody. The rescues don't like it when I say this, but there are some rescues that want the microchip left in them being the primary contact. I do not agree with that at all. If I adopt a dog from you, it's my dog. I've paid for it. I've taken responsibility for looking after it, and I want to be the first one that a shelter calls if the dog ends up in a shelter. Some rescues actually insist in the contract that they remain the first contact, And I just don't agree with that at all. If the owner wants to, if the new adopter wants to leave the rescue on as the secondary contact, fine. I personally wouldn't do that either. I would pick somebody that I really knew and trusted as my secondary contact. But the primary contact is me. The dog ends up in a shelter at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, and I only have till 7 o'clock to go and pick him up and get him out. I want to be that phone call. I don't want it to go through a rescue who may or may not call me in time to go get my dog out, and might have to wait till Monday, and then I have to pay $300 because the dog's been there 2 days. And, I just feel very strongly about that. And I voice my opinion on that sometimes, and I get a lot of pushback on that on rescues that say, but my theory is I didn't rent this dog from you. I bought this dog, or I adopted this dog, and it's my dog now. It's my responsibility.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I wouldn't accept that either.
And we have actually had some dogs that were not that ended up in a shelter. The rescue was the first contact, and they went and picked up the dog and never returned it to the owner because they then assumed that the person was a bad person because the dog had got lost.
That's a touchy subject with me too.
That's a whole other topic.
Well, we're down to our last 5 minutes, Kathy. So maybe we could just go quickly through, what people need to do to make sure their microchip is registered and up to date. And it doesn't have to be because it's check the chip day. It just needs to be done, and you need to know how to do it.
Right. And the one thing that I'd just like to mention too is if you've acquired a dog, think of how, and I always when I talk to people that have lost their dog, I ask them where they got their dog from, because a lot of people have gotten a dog either because their friend adopted it and then it didn't work out, or their friend bought it and then it didn't work out. Or I talked to a man the other day, and he was actually the third owner of the dog. And I said, did you microchip the dog? And he said, no. And I said, but do you think anybody microchipped the dog? Because that's a really important thing to know, because if that dog ends up in a shelter, that's who they're going to call if the microchip was sent to them. And we've got to get this sorted out. And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I'm the third owner. I really don't know what happened with the other owners. I said, we need to figure this out. I mean, you need to call those other owners to know if either of them had microchipped the dog, and that then we have to get that changed into your name. Or if they get a phone call, they need to know that he's missing, so that they know to call you right away. They just don't think it's some kind of crank call or something. So always think back to the other owners of that dog, so that where did it come from? If you didn't microchip it, could it still be microchipped? And if you think it could be, take it in, get it scanned, and then go through the proper steps to get it changed into your name, which usually means sending in adoption paperwork or some sort of a bill of sale, even if it's only for $1, to prove to the microchip company that you are now the legal owner of that dog, and the microchip can be put into your name.
Right. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah. Because I see every day too, when people send in a report and it says, is your dog microchipped? And they say unknown. And that's probably the case of a situation just that you described, So it's really important. I mean, I think everybody listening should make a point on your, when you visit your vet, to ask them to scan for you, because you're there, they have a scanner, and they can quickly do it. And then you can just double check everything. It's so important. So important.
Yep, it absolutely is. And just go home and take the time, to figure out which company it is. If you have any problems, you can always send an email to myself, and I will try to help you sort it out of what microchip company it is. Because, we do it fairly often, so, it's a little easier for us. I understand where it can be a bit intimidating for somebody that has never done it before.
Right.
But it's just so important. I'd just rather see those dogs get back home or be protected if, that we know that information is up to date.
That's right. So why don't you quickly give people your email to contact you and tell them your web page so they can check out all your important information?
Yep. So we can be contacted at Lost Dogs of America. So just how it sounds, all spelled out, Lost Dogs of America at gmail.com. And the website is lostdogsofamerica.org. And the Facebook page is Lost Dogs of America. So it's all pretty simple.
Very simple.
And yep. And we do have, I think we have a whole category on microchip information on there. So hopefully if there's something that we talked about fairly quickly, you can go in there and find something. I know that the pet, I don't want to say it and then have it wrong, but it's the AHA microchip lookup tool. If you just Google that, it will send you to the correct URL for the website.
Yep. All right. All right, Kathy, it's time to say goodbye already. So we'll be talking to you again. And so for now, everybody, please remember that a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives. So be sure your pet is microchipped and wearing its ID tags. And as we've talked, make sure that microchip is up to date. I'm your host, Patty G. Russo, and this has been Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.